I'm Julie, Fei-Fan Balzer, and one of the things I love about the ScanNCut is it makes it super easy to cut out all of my stamped images. And this means that I can create lots of different things, custom borders for everything. It's really neat. And the ScanNCut gives you lots of options. So let's examine a couple of those options. So this is the same stamped image, just cut a couple different ways. This is the default choice right here in the middle. You can also bring a margin in. Now I've only shown 2 increments, but it goes quite a ways. Or you can bring a margin out and get that nice little border. And again, this you can use many different sizes. There are also a variety of shapes, and these aren't even all the shapes that are built into your ScanNCut, but you can see the default on this shape and then bringing the margin in and then puffing the margin out. And again, here are the defaults on some of the other shapes. Now let's take a look at what stamps really work the best with the ScanNCut. So here on the mat, I've already stuck down a piece of paper that's stamped, and let's review a couple of them right now. So this stamp is gonna work great because it's completely enclosed, everything's attached, there are no weird little bits hanging out or anything open. Here, where I did a very poor job stamping and caught some of the rubber, it won't matter, I'll still be able to cut in between there. However, if you look at this image of the Chrysler building has these open spots, that's not going to work because the machine needs to have a closed design. It won't understand that these pieces have to go together. So you can see I'm just taking a black pen and basically creating the finish of what your eye implies is there, but the ScanNCut scanner actually needs. Now, another example of having to do something like that is this stamped image here is very faint on this side. It's not, doesn't have a lot of clarity. So again, with my pen, I can just make sure to fix that up. Now when I cut it, you're never going to notice that little line at all. Another example of bad stamping that I've done here is this one right over here where I've completely missed the corner. So I can go ahead if I want and I can just sort of draw out a shape that's similar and the machine will cut that out and it will fix that, or I can ignore that and stamp it again. But now I'd say everything here is enclosed, it's got a nice hard outline, the scanner's gonna be able to see it. So now let's load this into the machine so that we can cut all of these stamped images out. So I'm just gonna press the load button, and now from the home screen, I'm gonna choose scan and direct cut. We're gonna use the machine and we're gonna keep it in grayscale mode. So I'm just gonna press the start button. I can see my images on the screen. I say okay. And now everywhere that the line has darkened is an image that's going to be taken out. So I'm going to drag in my arrows to get a little bit tighter around everything. And you can zoom in if you want to see what's happening. You can zoom in up to 400% so that you can really see that line around everything to make sure that it's catching. I mean, look where we drew in the badly stamped image and you can see it's getting it. So let's talk about the different options. So one option is right here in the grayscale slider. Sometimes if you have things that aren't coming out all the way, what you can do is you can adjust the grayscale slider right there. And then you can hit preview. And then you'll be able to see if more stuff comes out or if you can adjust it, and you can play with it going both ways. And now you can see this branch, which wasn't coming out before, is coming out. So we made sure to capture everything. Now a couple more options. So remember, anytime you're okay, you just hit okay. This 2 circles with the kind of margin indicator, what that is when I showed you that you could come in or out, if you wanted to have no edge, you could go in, and you could go in as much as you wanted. And again, it's showing you the preview. If you wanted to have a little bit of an edge, what I think is that if you go about 2 up to 0.08, that gives you what looks apparent like a matching die or something like that. Or if you just want the default, and you'll know the default because it's in the little white box and it's right at 0. Another option that you have is right here where you have the shapes. You can, at this point, no problem at all. This is a custom shape. This is a circle. It's going to put a circle around everything on there. This is a scallop, and you can go right through the 4 pages of different shapes that you can put around there. I am going to go right on back to the custom shape, and I'm going to add my favorite margin, which is 2 up, which is 0.08, and say OK. And then I'm going to say okay again. But wait, there's one exciting and awesome last step before we can actually cut. Do you see the editing icon right here in the lower right corner? This is really exciting because what this allows me to do is I can actually decide, you know what, I don't want to cut this one out, and I can delete it. I can decide, I do want to cut something else. I can also add a test cut in so that I make sure that my blade is set exactly as I need it. So it's just lots of good stuff in this screen. Don't forget about this when you're cutting out stamped images. So I'm going to say, okay, everything looks good. Let's cut. I'm ready to press the start button. I'm going to unload the mat. And it's amazing how in just a few minutes, I've managed to cut this entire sheet of stamps. So I like to pull away the excess outside. Looks like this guy got caught. But I mean, this is amazing, right? Look at the detail of how, I cut out an entire sheet of stamps. So I can just go ahead and pull them off using my spatula tool to help me. And my Chrysler building came out perfectly thanks to a couple little pen marks and that ugly stamped compositions. Again, super duper easy. So I hope that you are gonna try using your ScanNCut to cut out all your stamped images. It really is quick and simple with lots of options for customization. For more tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to visit my blog at balzerdesigns.typepad.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course, visit the ScanNCut website at scanandcut.com.